Why? How did that happen? When did I type? Oh, I pressed the number 3 by accident. And I love how this form is just a shitpost form. It only ever shows up if I like, accidentally hit the number 3. Alright. Next segment. We got 2 more, I think. Gotta figure out what digital art app I want to use on your Android tablet. Clip Studio came pre-installed, but I have to pay for it. Still have to pay for it. I have Krita, which I haven't really used yet. It seems okay, but I don't know. I mean, no matter what, I'm gonna have to learn it from scratch because I don't know any online art programs. I used to know Psy a little bit, but not really. In fact, when I do my thumbnails, I just use MS Paint. Honestly, because all it is pasting a few assets together. So there's never any need for, like, advanced visual shit. April 6th, 4:51 p.m. Big building, empty lot. Sean, he was my dad? It can't have been easy learning the truth about his father's identity so unexpectedly. And too late to ever get to know him. You know how hard I tried to find him? Sean, I get it. He was the president. He had a lot more to think about than just me. But he was right there in front of me, right there on the set. So why? Why didn't he just say something? Why didn't he tell me who he was? I'm sorry, Sean. I'm so sorry. This animation's really, really cute. I love how everyone looks so pensive, but then you have Eddie in the corner with his default expression, and then you have Tabby who's like, "Yep, I'm doing good." This is a good moment for oh, and Franziska's just kind of neutral. Here, wait, let's get this in the frame. This is a really good thumbnail for this part. I think this would be great to use as the thumbnail. It's not your fault, Mom. It's mine. If I hadn't broken my promise to you, that fire would have never happened, and he wouldn't have... I've ruined everything. Everything. It's all my fault. I even ruined your flowers. Sean, please, you mustn't blame yourself. Just try to be here with me. Hey, Karma. You got my message. Just for a little while. The bond between parent and child, as symbolized by the lion lily. No expert, but it's native to Zheng Fa, so I know that much at least. Sadly, we don't have the luxury of dwelling on such things now. I know it might seem insensitive, Agent Lang, but sentimentality won't help us here. You're crying over a musical, really? We need to focus on what we could do about the case before us. You're right. I believe we've learned all we need to about what happened back then, for now. How did it all line up with your father's theories about the case? I wouldn't know. He took those to the grave with him. Never shared his thoughts with anybody. No way of knowing what he figured out. What about your own thoughts? Are you feeling any more positive in the light of what we learned from Kay's reconstruction? Epic the Musical. Never heard of that. Are we any closer to learning what really happened 12 years ago? You know, I think we might be. My father's footsteps are starting to become clear. Now all we need to do is follow them. All the way to the truth. The real story of the SS5 incident. The President went to the orphanage that night. That much we know for sure. The Torosaurus toy proves it. Must have gone there to meet with the Millier Fen. Except he was kidnapped, and Alldown happened to see it. If Alldown hadn't been there, there wouldn't have been a murder. Just a kidnapping. Instead, they had to move his body to the planters and stage that photo to throw everybody off the scent. So that's our current theory, is it? 12-year-old incident which President Wong was kidnapped. But there's something else there's something I still don't understand. There is. This. Why risk staging the picture? They would have had to force the president to play along. What if he hadn't? It's a good question. And we may be closer to discovering the answer than we think. We'll just have to get there one deduction at a time. Yeah, guess we will. Alright, deduce away. I think I know immediately what this one is. If Aldan hadn't been there wouldn't have been a murder, just a kidnapping. No, because the blood was there beforehand. Mr. Aldan hadn't been there, huh? That's an interesting suggestion. Care to explain? There's not a whole lot to explain. He saw the kidnapping, so he was murdered. If he hadn't been there, maybe the kidnapping could have happened without any blood being spilled. But could it? He makes it sound as if Mr. Aldan's fault he was murdered. That's not what Agent Lang is saying, Kay. What he means is that Mr. Aldan was the only person who died at the orphanage that night. Well, of course he was. They kidnapped the president and everything. But the ransom was paid and he came home safely, right? A no witnesses situation, yeah. She's right, of course, but why does something about that bother me? I think it might be worth taking another look over all the evidence. Finish discussing things with your assistant, Mr. Prosecutor? Let's continue, shall we? Also for Edgeworth's logic, mind chess, I'd like to think he was infected by Phoenix's psyche lock powers. Well, no, it's just, he just has his own way of breaking down people. And in true autistic person fashion, he imagines a chess set in front of him. Pretty easy. Anyway. Sorry, make myself a little more comfortable there.
Objection!
Yeah, that was a pretty easy one. You're saying there would have been no murder if Mr. Aldan hadn't witnessed the kidnapping. But is that really the case? Why wouldn't it be? Their main aim was to abduct the president, right? So if there hadn't been a witness present, they wouldn't have needed to murder anybody. Edward's autistic while Phoenix is slight ADHD. They're all autistic, Karma. And yet it remains possible that Mr. Aldan wasn't the only person killed that night. There was a large pool of blood between the planters, but Mr. Aldan was murdered over by the snowman. It can't have belonged to him. What if all that blood by the planters belonged to somebody else? Come on, Mr. Prosecutor. You do realize what you're saying, don't you? I do. It's hard to believe, but I'll be the first to admit it. It's hard to believe. I'll be the first to admit it. That's what the evidence suggests. Not just that one person was killed here 12 years ago, but two. You're saying they covered up a whole separate murder? But whose? Who else was killed that night? Whoever covered up this other homicide did it so very skillfully indeed. The super attorney power, autism, yeah. They even seem to have been able to avoid it being mentioned in the files. But they didn't quite get rid of everything. We have a piece of evidence from 12 years ago that they never managed to erase. This clearly shows that something else happened that night. Wait, what? Oh.
Take that!
The drawing. Excelsius Winter tried to shroud the existence of the other murder in darkness. But there was one piece of evidence he wasn't able to suppress. Thanks to the efforts of your father, Agent Lang. My father? Cast your mind back, if you will. Something else was hidden along with all the other evidence from the crime scene. The existence of the child who set the fire in front of the orphanage. But why would Chairman Winter wish to erase him from the record? Because he saw something he should not have. That's why. He did? What was it? It's right here in this picture. Picture my father kept. I think we can all agree that's the president on the right-hand side there. And that's the Torosaurus toy in his hand. But who's that standing across from him? I mean, it's pretty obvious it's this dude. Head Tumor McGee.
Take that!
Eastern robes and a black dog? That can only be Bodhid Harmer Canis. What? The creepy assassin guy? And what would a hired killer be doing in the presence of a president? I can think of only one thing. That's right. It wasn't a kidnapping that occurred here 12 years ago. It was an assassination. Yeah! And Warden Lagarde and Chairman Winter were... Yes, I think they were complicit. More than complicit, in fact. One provided the venue for the killing, and the other suppressed the testimony of the child who witnessed it. Mr. Aldan was murdered because what he witnessed was actually an assassination. And the kidnapping he thought... Not the kidnapping he thought it to be at all. You think I'm an idiot? How could the president have died 12 years ago? We only found his body this morning. He was alive and well until just recently. Yeah, we even met him. Indeed. Looks like it's pronounced Bodhidharma. Okay. Bodhidharma. Indeed, so we have a president killed 12 years ago and a president killed in the last 48 hours. Two presidents, in other words. Right, which is completely impossible. Or is it? I think it's entirely possible for there to be 2 presidents. In fact, that would explain a lot. Regardless of what happened, I still respected him. Zhang Fa may not be a big country, but he held that place together. President Agent Lang spoke of was a noble and capable leader. No, Presidential mask has well and truly slipped. Entirely unlike the men we met. It really did seem as if they were 2 completely different people. Booty Karma got it. Yeah, Karma, it's you. Booty Karma Volpez. But how could one country have 2 presidents? What could explain a situation like that? This is how it was possible for there to be 2 of them. They were twins! One was a body double. It was a mistaken identity. I mean, what's to say they weren't twins? Could the president not have been a twin? Yeah, that could maybe explain it. Sorry, but it couldn't have been. It couldn't. President Wang was an only child. That's a matter of record. Ugh, is that so? Give it up. There's no way there could have been 2 presidents. It's just not possible. It is, and I'm going to prove it to you. After I thank Red Bow Rose for the raid of 23 people. Thank you so much. Hey. Rade. Let me give you a shout out. Karma. Hokey Shick. What are you playing, Red Bow? Also, hello, Red Bow's community. I'm Michael Macaw. I'm a variety PNG tuber. And I am streaming the very end of Ace Attorney Investigations 2. So if you don't want spoilers, I apologize, but this might not be the best part to enter on. It's also my last stream before I go to MagFest next week, so this is like the season finale of Michael Macaw on Twitch. Elden Ring, nice. Goes flat out flying. Also goes flat out flying. Where? Okay. It's really an origin to the similarly pronounced Bodhisvata. It's a Buddhist thing, yeah. Bodhidharma. I'm not gonna remember that. I'm gonna have to type that out somewhere. Wait, can I just pin a message? I think I could. There we go. Now I won't forget. Anyway, thank you so much, Red Bow. I appreciate that. If you need to take care of take care of yourself, do after stream care. Thank you. I just say thank you for raiding, and totally understand. So I get so surprised my raids can't stay on the ground. Oh, you should have been here a few days ago. I got like 3 in rapid succession. I sound like Eustace the way I talk sometimes. Rapid suggestion. Uncompetent. Yeah, everybody follow Red Bow Rose, please. They cool. Go splat. I could go splat. Hold on. Wait, but was there a typo in that line? This is how it's possible for there to be 2 presidents. No, okay. One of the 2 was a body double. Tell me that doesn't make sense. Okay, it doesn't make sense. A body double? President Wang was a man of great power and influence in Zhang Fa, a figure on the world stage. There must have been countless attempts on his life over the years. Such as the one at Gourd Lake only a few days ago. It's true, there were more than a few assassination attempts. But that doesn't mean I'm about to accept that there was more than one president. Not without proof. Do we have any proof that there was more than one president? Do we? President Zhang Fa was kidnapped. Investigation notes. President Wang was supposed to meet Amelia Fenn at the orphanage that night. Witness Alpha Alldown was murdered. His body moved in a photograph of kidnapping staged. President Wang is here for some reason, and there's another. Oh, the size 12 shoes, because they're gigantic, like he was.
Take that!
Oh, no, never mind. This proves it, surely. You have to agree that there were 2 presidents now. Sorry, but I don't. Not based on that, anyway. Those smelly shoes away. Lang Z says, bad proof has no mouth, only a nose to smell the smelly shoes. In other words, meaningless evidence can tell us nothing. Oof, must have gotten that wrong. Hey, Ephraim. You're all squishing me. Squishing my emotes. If you could prove that he'd ever been in 2 places at once, that would be pretty good evidence that there were 2 presidents, right? It would. Let's look over the evidence again and consider the facts of the case. What you're saying is impossible. There can't have been 2 presidents. You want me to change my mind on that? I'm gonna need some evidence. Ain't no thing as 2 presidents. You're gonna have to check me with that evidence. Under the floorboards like Harrison Ford. Insert nose and shoe. Karma, your whole snout is a shoe. You have shoe snout. Boot snoot. Is there any proof that there's more than 1 president? Let's see any there. I mean, the bloodstain doesn't prove that. Killed while attempting to avenge Alf all down. President's presence at the embassy confirmed until midnight, confirmed by DeLong Lang. Could that be it?
Take that!
I don't think he's noticed the contradiction staring him in the face. Oh wow, I was right. That was kind of a guess, to be honest. Or was he just unable to accept it? What's the matter, Mr. Prosecutor? You're pretty quiet all of a sudden. DeLong Lang getting a little out there. In Amelia Fenn's recording, she asked the president to be at the orphanage at midnight. But it shouldn't have been possible for him to be there at the time. Huh? How come? Because he was supposedly still at the embassy. With your father, Agent Lang. With your father, Agent Lang. He's talking about Lang. Current Lang, not dead Lang. So he had noticed. The only way he could have been in 2 places at once is if there were 2 of him. Oh! So the real president, that was the one who died 12 years ago? I think it might have been. But why? And who? Who would have hired Candace to murder the president? In order to figure that out, we'll need to look again at the piece of evidence we recently discovered was a fake. The fake evidence. What was it again? The photograph.
Take that!
Somebody clip that? Soma, you could clip it. But also I can't. I could clip it myself, I think. Does this button work? I think it does. Let me see. Because it stopped working for a while. Oh! Okay. It apparently does work. That's good. Also, sorry. Got a notification somewhere. What is this? Oh. Okay. Just a notification of a sale for something I don't need. Fucking outstanding. Okay. I'll edit that a bit later. I will post it as a clip, like an actual clip. Okay, so my clip button does work again now. It didn't for a long time. A DeLong Lang time. Man. Should make a clip of that one, too. Oh, wait. That might erase the previous one. Shit. Or maybe not. Hold on. See, now I'm curious to see if this all works. Also, sorry. Got a notification. Sale for a clip. Okay, so my clip button does work again now. It didn't for a long time. a Delong Lang time. Okay. Well, I have these both open. I'm sure I could probably just save them both. Fucking outstanding. Yeah. There's a lot of bellies there, bud. Tumby. You want Tumby? I'll give you Tumby. Picture was taken with Alldown's camera after this was staged sometime after his murder. Clip it quick. Mr. Alldown was murdered because he witnessed the president's assassination. In other words, the photograph too must have been taken after the real president's death. So who was the president in the staged photographed? Wait, I got emotes Michael likes. Wait, what? Froggo. That PNG is your favorite? Yeah, Kokori Cow does great work. It's my only fully animated one. The body double. Nothing else makes sense. Okay, so essentially Edgeworth is saying that in the doctored photo, it's the body double posing willingly, not the president himself. I believe the president's double had him killed so he could take his place permanently. An Excelsius winner and Fifi Lagarde helped him to do it. Wait, you don't even have a body to support your theory. Are you telling me it magically disappeared?
Objection!
No, in fact, we know exactly where it wound up. The president's body was here the whole time. What? Huh? It's not this one. It can't be the actual, like, body double. That's him. He can't be him. He's not him. He's him.
Take that!
Maybe he was buried under the footprints. Chairman Winter dug something up last night. Something he couldn't trust to anybody else to retrieve. We thought it might have been the ransom money, but it was actually something even more important. Wait, you mean... That's right. The real president's body. I think it's highly likely anyway. What?! The body may have decomposed in the intervening years, but the bones would have surely remained. Mr. Powers informed us the construction is due to start here sometime soon. Everything had to be wrapped up before then. The shooting of the movie, and the recovery of the president's remains. Yeah, I guess once they started digging the place up, they would have found them pretty quickly, huh? Agent Lang, we need to analyze the so-called monster footprints again. Yeah, I guess we do. If there was a body under one of them, there should be trace evidence to confirm it. Hey, get me somebody from forensics! My favorite artist, Kokori Cow, Sharkvore, Cosmic Wolf, and yourself. Hey, well, it's good to think of yourself that way. It's good to be a fan of yourself. I've been getting better at drawing, too, and I like how my drawings are turning out, even though I'm not really good at doing specific things, like big pieces, but... Sharkvore's work looks pretty cool. I remember you showing that to me earlier. Sir, presenting the findings of our analysis, sir. Traces of human remains were found in the dirt, along with other signs of a body having been buried. Ugh, so it really was him. Bones were also recovered from the home of Excelsius Winter. The physique looks to be about right, and dental and medical records are a match. It's him, no doubt about it. So as suspected, the real President Wong was killed 12 years ago. And the SS-5 kidnapping was in fact a homicide. Concrete was broken and the earth was exposed after Excelsius Winter dug up President Wong's corpse. That's a statement. Wow, so it really was a murder, huh? This case has taken so many twists and turns, I'm starting to lose track. Again, why are Lottie and the other girls still here? Because they just are. They just don't have anything better to do. Yes, perhaps we should summarize our findings just to confirm that we understand everything correctly. Good idea. Let's go over everything from the point where the president arrived at the orphanage. "12 years ago, the real President Wong visited the orphanage. His aim? To meet his infant son. The footprints were originally assumed to be those of Mr. Alldown. Seem likely to have actually been made by the President upon his arrival. But instead of being greeted by his child, he was met by the assassin, Bodhidharma Karnas. Damn it! See, now I'm fucking up the last name. Bodhidharma Canis. See, but like Bod Hid Harm really matches what he does. He assassinates people. He does harm to bodies. And also Hid matches in this case, too. But I guess Bodhidharma is how it's supposed to be pronounced. This works on a spelling level, not a pronunciation level. Oh, it only stays pinned for a little while. Damn. That's so sad. Edgeworth played Despacito. He was only hoping to see his baby for the first time. Only to... Indeed, but at least with Mr. Canis, we could be sure the job was swiftly and effectively completed. But then, after the assassination, another tragedy occurred. Swiftly? It's like you do realize that he cuts people open with knives, right? But then, after the assassination, another tragedy occurred. Mr. Aldown's murder. Yes, it seems we witnessed a key moment in the evening's proceedings. The moment when our culprits, the so-called kidnappers, took the president's body around to the side of the building. Oh, C for culprit. I'm like, what does C mean there? That's not how killer is spelled. That was the sight that sealed his fate. We've now established that he was standing by the orphanage gates at the time. Far enough away that he believed that what he was seeing was the president's abduction. At which point... Oh, the body double who had come up to meet with his co-conspirators walked right up behind Mr. Aldown, leading to our unfortunate eyewitness being murdered by the man who was plotting to replace the president. Wow, so the dude we rescued in the first chapter that we thought was just a cowardly man was in fact a brutal murderer who had his, had the person he was body doubling killed. N64C button. So was it the body double who moved Mr. Aldown's body too? Yes, I think it probably was. But none of the footprints could have been his, could they? Actually, I think they could. In fact, we have a piece of evidence that proves how a particular trick was achieved. What shows how the body double managed to move the body without leaving footprints?
Take that!
The size 12, the big smelly size 12 shoes. What if the president's double moved Mr. Aldown's body like this? After killing Mr. Aldown, he could have carried him to the other side of the entrance. Given that his job was to look just like the president, he would have been wearing the same shoes. Meaning that if he stepped exactly in the footprints left by the real president, of course, he would have been the same shape and size. Would have looked exactly like a single set of footprints. Footprints. So that's how it all went down? I'm so glad we finally figured it out. Did you hear a noise right there? It was not my phone. Wait, but there's one thing I still don't get. There is? What? Why did they need to pretend there was a kidnapping? Mr. Aldown had seen the president at the orphanage and left a message on Miss Ringer's phone describing what he thought he saw. Would have been impossible for the conspirators to erase that message. So they had to make it look as if the events described in the message were true. By staging a kidnapping like the one he thought he saw. Also, your favorite artists, Michael and Robo and Ephraim. It's fun to... It's fun when they draw balloon. Yeah. Thank you. You don't have to say I'm your favorite artist. I don't draw anything that's particularly noteworthy. Exactly. I think the two people in the photograph are likely to be the body double and Fifi Lagarde. She's the one in the trench coat? How can you be so sure of that? The two of them would have had to walk out beyond the orphanage gates to stage the photo. The body double could have put his feet in the real president's prints as he did before. Oh, so the other set of footprints were hers. The ones we originally thought belonged to the killer, yes. They were about a size 9, too small for Chairman Winner, in other words. Which means the kidnapper must have been played by Warden Lagarde. Remind you of the Lego incident. The Lego incident? What? You mean the Tetris incident? The Tetris art I drew? And the bowling art? And the Suika game art? And that explains how a so-called kidnapping was actually a presidential assassination. It does, which means my father must have noticed. There's no way he wouldn't have suspected a murder. Especially not with the kid's picture as proof. But the picture was never officially put into evidence, correct? No. He appears to have kept a hold of it after after taking the witness statement of a child who drew... Oh my god! He appears to have kept hold of it after taking the witness statement of the child who drew it. Yeah, because he knew. He knew President Wang was dead. And he knew what would happen if that news ever got out. Zheng Fa would have been plunged into chaos, no doubt. So he kept it a secret, and the secret died with him. Even though it meant taking the blame for the kidnapping and our family name being ruined. So your father knew the truth about what happened 12 years ago, but chose to hide it. Well, it's finally coming to light at last. The SIV incident. Updated. You could do it, don't let those words get the better of you. Thanks, Soma. They're my greatest enemy. They're the things that stop me from being successful in voice acting. The words, clearly. Not the tons of dairy that I drink every day. It is indeed intriguing. Huh? What? Who's there? Hey, King Leon, how you doing? Zai's mispronouncing it, he's getting old. What? That sound, is that a bell? Bodhidharma Canis! I love that look when he gets jumped. The heck are you doing here? We're the law. You think you could just show up in front of us like it ain't a problem? Forgive me, but I couldn't help overhearing the fascinating conversation you were having. The opportunity to gloat over your past crimes was just too good to miss, I expect. You killed President Wang! I did, but it's not something I'm inclined to gloat over. I was more interested in something else you mentioned. Or someone else, should I say. Doing okay, excited for the Nintendo Switch 2 and the new Mario Kart game. Yeah, I'm really not super excited over it, because it's really just more of an incremental upgrade. Like, it's just the next Switch. But I'm definitely excited for a system that, that'll run games at more than, like, 15 FPS. Unpin this message after. How do I change this? Manually unpinned or end of stream. Oh, cool. Okay, there we go. B-055 boss, yeah. Should be B-008 boob. God damn. We're all mature here. I was more interested in something else you mentioned. Or someone else, I should say. Should I say. Someone you're looking for, I suppose. Exactly. That's why I took a little sojourn from the penitentiary. To find a certain young pup. A young pup in a rather eye-catching red raincoat. What? Wait, you know who they are? In a manner of speaking, what did you call them again? A secret mastermind? Bodhi Biddies. Your friend in the red raincoat, of course. Red raincoat? The prosecutor looks a little surprised, doesn't he, Helmut? Yes, he does. The young pup I mentioned, he saved my life, 12 long years ago. My unexpected savior. As you've surmised, it was I who killed President Wang. But that meant, that I too became an inconvenience in need of removal. The imposter president, Winner Lagarde. All three were keen to guarantee my silence. There's an extra space between the comma and winner there. I think there's an extra space. That looks like it's too long. No, actually it might not be. And if I hadn't met my friend, the young pup again, they might have even succeeded. I wonder what he's doing now. So it was the president's body double who hired you? I remember his words almost as if it were yesterday. You know how many times I've nearly been killed? Not once, not twice, a bunch of times. Why do I have to take all the risks? Why am I the one they always put in danger? Because you're a body double, dude. The fuck do you want? When I'm out there being him, people treat me like I was him. They worship me. So what's the difference? Who's to say I couldn't be just as good as him? There was a difference, of course, even if he did look and sound exactly like him. Just because it walks and talks like a president, that doesn't make it a president, does it, boy? No. Something we all know way too fucking well in this piece of shit waste of a country. So he got his wish and became the boss, but couldn't quite fill his predecessor's shoes. Rook's not around. That means I'm number one. Wonder if you have what it takes to step into such capable shoes. You. Of course I do. I'm the leader now. Me! Seems the king and his knight were much the same. The president's double knew that his employer had a weakness. A young woman named Emilie. But in order to find her, he needed to enlist the help of locals. Locals such as Chairman Winner. Once Miss Fenn had been located, they simply needed to find the right time to lay their trap. The meeting she arranged so the president could meet his son. That would have been the perfect opportunity. Indeed. With the head of the orphanage brought into the fold, their little conspiracy was complete. Warden Lagarde. Now, quid pro quo, where might I find the pup? What makes you think the boy who helped you and our mysterious string puller are one and the same? He set a little fire that night, out there in the yard of the orphanage. Oh yeah, we saw that. It was some kind of prank, right? Just a prank, bro. Prank? It was nothing of the sort, my dear. No, as I understand it, he had taken refuge in the igloo by the entrance. From there, he happened to see Winner and Lagarde carrying away a dead body. Le Poix! He also overheard them hatching a certain sordid little plot. A plot to remove me, the only other person who knew exactly what had happened, from the picture. Thankfully, he was kind enough to come and inform me. I was waiting inside the building, you see. He also happened to mention later on that he was wearing his favorite red raincoat. Presented here in green. In any case, he escorted me from the premises. And being a very considerate boy, thought to erase both our footprints from the scene of the crime. Yeah, I need some avocado for my throat after this. It seemed he had a little kerosene set aside in the igloo for just such an occasion. So he spread it liberally around the place and set himself a little fire. No way, so that's what the fire was for. Must have been ever so beautiful. Winner and Lagarde were positively enchanted. And while they were distracted by the show, he took the opportunity to usher me out of a side entrance. Never answered my question. Really think he's the one behind all this? I do indeed, don't I, Helmet? Yes, yes I do. Reboodle.
Hold it!
You were pretty forthcoming with that particular mission. If I'm honest, Mr. Edgeworth, I'm tired of all the killing. But back then, I felt that death was my path. I embraced it and strove to learn what it had to teach. This guy escaped from jail again? He's just a master assassin. Somehow that makes him capable of escaping jail. I've made my peace with that, and I'm happy to admit it. Aren't I, boy? Yes, yes I am. I'm not sure what he's talking about, but I definitely don't like the sound of it. Basically, he thought nothing of murdering the president. And not only is he an assassin, he's now a prison escapee, not someone to be trifled with. We can't afford for him not to talk. I need to tread as carefully as I can here. Very well, you killed the president, and you're happy to admit it. I think a lot of us would be. Oh, very much so. I wouldn't want you thinking that I drew my blade and missed.
Hold it!
You a target, but you're an assassin. Sometimes the hunter must become the hunted. Sometimes the living must become the dead. Please, Kay, don't feel the need to add a proverb of your own. Impermanence is inherent into the way of the assassin. Life-takers' lives are taken. So it goes. Wait, does that mean the people you're sent to kill sometimes try to kill you back, or...? It happens, occasionally, but it's not what happened this time. But Mr. Canis, you're a professional killer, and a famously skilled one at that. Surely escaping even 3 attackers would have been a little more than a minor inconvenience. You overestimate me, Mr. Edgeworth. You seem to forget that without Helmet here, I couldn't even walk down the street. Against 3 assailants, it wouldn't have lasted more than a few moments. Blew my nose and I think all your brain cells went with it. What the fuck is happening? This assassin who's blind, likely because of that giant tumor in the back of his head, is telling us that he's the one who killed the original President Wong 12 years ago. And the one who got killed now was a body double. Give us so many moments where it's good to pause when you text is scrolling by assassin. You target, but you're an ass, yeah. Examine it, the butt. What do you want me to examine? The ass. I see, so even the most proficient assassins are ill-equipped to face a full frontal assault. We're not usually fond of such situations, shall we say. Certainly would not have liked my chances. And if I hadn't met my friend, the young pup, again, they might have even succeeded.
Hold
it! Again, so the 2 of you had met before. Yes, on a cold and lonely Christmas Eve 18 years back. That long ago. But on that occasion, it was I who saved his life. Cold and lonely Christmas Eve 18 years back. That day sounds familiar. It was snowing. More than it had in years, and cold enough that death by freezing was a real possibility. I had taken Helmut out for a little walk in that cold weather that could kill him instantly. He noticed something and bounded off through the snow. When I caught up to him, he was sniffing at a car. The car doors had frozen shut. Took all the strength I had, but I eventually managed to open one. And inside I found 2 young boys, shivering and semi-conscious. Do we have that picture anymore? No, we don't. We don't have it on hand. 2. Yes, and I had found them had I found them even an hour. Sorry, I'm old and I have a tumor in my brain. And had I found them even an hour later, the poor wretches would have never made it. I took them both to a nearby orphanage. Is it me or is there something significant about what he just said? There is. What is it about Canis' statement that's especially noteworthy? The date, the number of people, the make of the car. Well, not the make of the car. Probably the date. This was on Christmas Eve 18 years ago. You're certain of that? I am. Holy smokes! We have something that shows why that date is so significant. This piece of evidence relates to the date on which Mr. Canis found the children. December 24th, 18 years ago. IS-7 incident.
Take that!
When Carmelo Gusto killed Artie Frost. That was the same day on which a certain incident occurred. The murder of a well-known sculptor. No way! An incident in the aftermath of which 2 children went missing. The son of the victim, Artie Frost, and the son of the murderer, Carmelo Gusto. Yeah, now that you mention it, the little guys did go AWOL, huh? Intriguing. The son of a murderer and the son of his victim. I suppose that would make sense. It would. One of the boys was bound hand and foot, you see. Must have been part of Mr. Frost's plan to stop Mr. Gusto's son from getting to the competition. Indeed, because without his son to taste his creations, Mr. Gusto would have had no chance of winning. So that was what was behind it all. Sadly, neither of the boys were able to remember any such details. They weren't? No. When they met each other again on that night 12 years ago, the young pup explained when we met each other again on that night 12 years ago, the young pup explained it to me. It seems that they really were on the brink of death when I found them, and the shock of the experience caused them both to lose their memories. They weren't even able to remember their own names. Wow. So they wouldn't have even known they were Mr. Frost and Mr. Gusto's kids. If what he's telling us is true, that would seem likely, yes. Which means we still don't have enough to tell us who our mastermind might be. Mr. Canis, would you mind telling us what happened next? By all means. The pup and I remained in contact even after I was sent to prison. But then I stopped hearing from him. I couldn't help but worry. And the people from 12 years ago started cropping up all over the place. Well, it was rather piqued my curiosity, so I thought I'd temporarily regain my freedom and look into things. People from 12 years ago? You mean Lagarde, Winter, and the President, I assume? Well, Warden Lagarde was in charge of the prison, where he was an inmate this whole time, right? I fear I wasn't as kind to her as I could have been. But then she did try to have me killed. You already know why, of course. Because you murdered President Wang, but they needed the world to believe he was still alive. If somebody had exposed the President as a fake, it would have been bad for Lagarde and Chairman Winter, too. Exactly. And not only that, I happened to overhear something else intriguing that night. Who are you? Sorry, but I'm waiting for somebody. I know you are, President Wang. I couldn't help overhearing the news. Congratulations. But please don't worry about your son. I only kill those I'm employed to kill, which in this case means you. No. Wait, this is my first chance to meet him. And it might be my only chance. Please, give me just a few minutes longer. I thought he was going to beg for his life, but no. An interesting character. I told him I was not aware that he had a child. No, he said, and shook his head. Neither was I, but the world will know now that I have one now. I mean to make sure of it. I've even prepared something in case the worst comes to the worst. Comes a cow plushie, yes. And the son in question, it was the young gentleman with the horns here, correct? Horns? You could see them? I don't need to, my dear. I've been listening very carefully, you see. Unlike me, I don't see anything. And for longer than you may realize. So the President meant to tell the world about Sean and prepared something in case of the worst. But it's not enough to simply have Canis' word on the matter. Of course! We have something that proves what he's telling us as the President is true. And what he's telling us about the President said is true. The will. You done? What? Was there a typo that I missed? You don't understand. We have to put horns on the child, yes. Oh. A will everybody knew about. He trusted it to my family to show his belief in us, after all. Not these are 3 are adults and conducted the most dumbest thing. Not really. It's just very convoluted. On purpose. The name in the recording, the preparations he had made, and his will. With those 3 pieces of information, I was able to convince Warden Lagarde to do anything I asked. With the information at his disposal, he could have exposed the truth about the body double at any time, and Sean's true identity with it. President Wang was more agile than I had anticipated. He blocked my first knife thrust with something soft. By the time the piece I'd broken off hit the snow, my next strike had hit its mark. So it was Canis who tore the horn off the Torosaurus doll. I was the only one present to hear his final words. The only one who knew the truth about his son. Well, me and that poor pup.
Hold it!
So you were able to continue communicating with him from prison? I was, via a post office box. What's that? It's a means of exchanging mail without revealing one's own address, a P.O. box. I never knew where he was, and I wasn't able to slip out and track him down. I was being kept under rather strict supervision, you see. By Warden Lagarde, no doubt. What were the 2 of you even communicating about? Oh, that's why he never escaped before, because Warden Lagarde was watching over him. Now that she's gone, he could just be like, yeet, out of here. We were playing correspondence chess, of course. That and griping about our respective lots in life. You know, it's a shame game overs don't trigger special scenes in this game, like what happens if you game over here and now, in story. Wait, if we get a game over now, something happens? Eh, whatever. Correspondence chess, but didn't you used to play that with... As unlikely as it seemed, Mr. Canis' chess opponent was... Mr. Knight? Yeah, it was Mr. Knight! We found a diagram of the game in his cell, too. In universe, what would happen? The game doesn't tell you. Oh, okay. So does this mean Knight had something to do with all that IS-7 business? Wait, could that be it? Do we have any evidence that might connect Knight to the IS-7 incident? I think we do. Knight's possessions. The ring.
Take that!
It's Paul Halik's, isn't it? This is everything Knight left behind. Could there be a clue in here somewhere? A ring and a chess set. Which one should I examine more closely? The ring. What about it, Mr. Edgeworth? Mr. Fender, take a closer look at it if you would. That design. That's Paul Halik's trademark. Mark. Indeed. Looks like somebody turned the stamp he used to sign his work into a ring. But why would Knight have been carrying it? And why was it not with the rest of the evidence from the IS-7 incident? They tried to release Frost's personal effects to his next of kin after the case wound down. But if I remember rightly, old Frosty Boy didn't have any family aside from his kid. And the kid was missing, so they never got it handed back to him. Not till later, anyhow. Heard on the grapevine that they found him in the end and gave him the goods. Including the seal, it would seem. Which he turned into a ring and wore until his own death. Like from his father's signature stamp. So we're saying Mr. Knight was Mr. Frost's son? The cops don't mess around with stuff like that. They would have made sure before handing it over. And we're looking... Whoa. And we're looking for somebody connected to the IS-7 incident who played correspondence chess, right? Wait, so our secret string puller is Bronco Knight?
Objection!
Knight is dead. How could he possibly be involved in our current case? Far out. So our only candidate for genius mastermind is a guy who's already kicked the bucket? That's impossible. How can a dead guy be behind all this? It's a little perplexing, but then who else could it be?
Hold it!
He stopped responding. That seems strange. I'm glad you agree. Helmet did too, of course. That big scary mutt really said that? What, like, woof woof, that's barking mad? He does not need to talk in order for me to hear him, my dear. He doesn't? Okay, well then let me ask you something. That look he's giving me, the super intense kind of scary glare. He's not trying to say he's hungry, is he? He might be. He might be. Mr. Edgeworth, help! Okay, realize I'm fond of Canis' pet, it seems. Yes, there's a good boy. Now, where was I? Ah, of course, I suddenly stopped hearing from the pup. And then people from 12 years ago started cropping up all over the place. Not the only game where the Yatagarasu gets eaten, either. It does seem all like a little too much of a coincidence, doesn't it? An attempt was made in the life of the man who was pretending to be President Wong all these years. Warden Lagarde murdered Bronco Knight while he was being held in the prison she ran. An Excelsius winner, chairman of the Committee for Prosecutorial Excellence, murdered Rosie Ringer. And the more that I think back on it, the more it seemed at the time that some mysterious other presence was lurking behind all those incidents. Yes, even from behind bars, it was rather obvious that something strange was going on. It was the ghost. We need to call the Ghostbusters. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da-da.
Hold it!
You thought you'd temporarily regain your freedom. Could you be any more brazen? Yeah, even a thief would struggle to get away with something like, I thought I'd temporarily steal it. Fear not. Nobody was injured in the course of my escape. It wasn't necessary, after all. I have my ways. Let's leave it at that, shall we? Leave it at... No, wait, pal, you escaped! I'd arrest you right now! There'll be no need for that, detective. As soon as my business is concluded, I'll return home to my cell. Somehow this is all because of Dahlia Hawthorne again. Oh, God. Are you serious? Prison is supposed to be some place you could just stroll in and out of when you please. Strange that you should say that. Weren't you the one who strolled in to try and dig into my past only recently? You! Agent Lang, Detective Gumshoe. I need to be able to question Mr. Canis further. Could you both try to remain calm for now? Sure thing, sir. Kinda knew you were gonna say that. Ugh, fine, but I'm not taking my eyes off the dog man. Not even for a second, you hear? That's a movie that's coming out soon. Dogman. It's funny because Dogman and Wolfman are coming out the same day, I think. Or at least the same month. Or they already came out. I did so used to enjoy tapping out my little letters in Braille.
Hold it!
In Braille? That's how you wrote all of them? That's right. I have the tools to do so in my cell. Huh, so you have to use special tools? Never thought about it before, but I guess that makes sense. And what exactly did you write about, if you don't mind my asking? Oh, this and that. General chit-chat. And chess moves, of course. Wolfman is already out, yeah. He wrote the chess moves in Braille, too. That's interesting. Speaking of chess moves, how does that piece you carved yourself move? The dog? Perhaps we could talk about that later. For now, I'd like to know about what happened when the letters stopped. Yeah, I sat in my cell and tried to imagine where he might have gone. Okay, Nope. Still don't get it. Who does he mean? Who's this puppy keeps talking about? Who indeed... I see out of the corner of my eye a message in one of my chats from Soma's girlfriend, and I'm just like, I don't even know if I want to click on that. About a, what is it? Pregnant big titty Sonic figurine. Okay. I think I'm good not looking at that. Indeed, it seems that not even Mr. Canis knows his true identity. So we should focus on what we do know, that there is a connection between the two of them. I'm particularly interested in how that connection was maintained. Did so used to enjoy tapping out my little letters in Braille. Okay, so he played correspondence chess with Bronco Knight. But the correspondence chess... Oh, good, they actually added it to our evidence. The correspondence chess thing we got was in English. Not, or just, it's written text. Not only is it written text, it actually says right here, printed rather than handwritten.
Objection!
So, how is that possible? Why is it translated like that? You said that you wrote all of your letters in Braille, is that correct? I don't mean to be rude, Mr. Prosecutor, but you do know about my condition, don't you? That's odd, because the chess diagram we found in Knight's cell didn't contain any Braille at all. Really? Surely that's impossible. How so, exactly? Maybe someone typed Mr. Canis's letters out on purpose? Meaning there may have been some sort of intermediary between the two of them? So then... Mr. Canis says he wrote his letters in Braille, and yet... the letters received by Mr. Knight contained no Braille at all. This suggests that there must have been a third party who typed Mr. Canis's letters out. Guess it could have worked the same way on the flip side too, right? Whoever it was who could have taken Knight's letters and turned them back into Braille? They could indeed. Letter from Canis retyped by the Mastermind and sent to Bronco Knight. I think you and Mr. Knight were both communicating with this person, Mr. Canis. Mr. Canis, the answers you received, they were written in Braille too, yes. So some mysterious middle person really was retyping the Bronxter's missives? And that same person might well be our secret string puller. Wait, you're trying to say there's another hidden mastermind behind this whole thing? So who's this new one? Bronco Knight, son of Artie Frost, is already dead. But what if the other child from the incident 18 years ago was actually who we've been looking for? Carmelo Gusto's son? But who is he? And where is he? If Knight was Frost's son, Gusto's son would have had to be... Never understood how you put Braille on paper. There's little tools that you hit to like punch the little divots out to make it readable. It's like a special tool for it. So before I proceed here, putting together everything you know, if you've not seen this before, putting together everything you know, do you think you know who the real mastermind is here? Don't say the person's name. Just say if you know or not, and if you haven't played it before. Yes, Ayla, you've played it before. Him? But surely not. What's the matter, Mr. Edgeworth? You're as white as a sheet. Of course. It all makes sense. I know exactly who our so-called mastermind is. What? Who? You have to tell us. I can hardly believe it, but it's somebody we know rather well. The person we've been looking for is... Bronco Knight is 24. There's only one other person in our evidence right now, I think, that's 24. And that person is Simeon Saint.
Take that!
It has to be the person behind all this. The person who forced Chairman Winter's hand by sending the letter to Rosie Ringer. Double penalty threat, yeah. Well, it's a crucial moment. You're supposed to piece it together. The person who kidnapped Sean and bugged Kay and myself. The person who did the strangest thing of all. Who drugged Kay and carried her up to the roof of the big building. It was the monster. What? Did you really just say what I thought you did? Yes, the monster. That was the key to unmasking our mastermind. Oh, I almost forgot. We're doing this new show soon. I'd love it if you could come, Mr. Edgeworth. The monster. I'll be joining Regina on stage for this one. That's right, the Very Big Circus is the biggest, most fabulous event in town. You'll have oodles of fun. Miss Lloyd, could I ask a favor? Ooh, hello, me? What kind of favor? You told us you recorded the sound of Tor's source breathing fire. Sure did. Like I said, didn't precisely see the guy, but boy did I hear him. Can we listen to that tape? You surely can. Let's see now. That's it. That sound. Must be what I think it is. My theory has to be correct. The truth about the monster, the identity of the person behind all this. It's all falling into place. Miss Hark, you saw a giant eye at the window of the storeroom, did you not? Yep, snapped me a picture of it too, even though if you can't rightly see it so well. So we can't see it right now, but... Detective Gumshoe? Yes, sir! Your image analyzer, can we borrow it again? Sure, but what do you want to look at, sir? This photograph right here. Gotcha, I'm on it! The clue we're looking for must be right here. We just have to find it. Bam.
Eureka!
That's... See? I done told y'all, Torsaurus, his own dang self. Yes, there it is at last. The monster commanded by the architect of this whole scheme. Monster? You're finally ready to admit it? That he's danged well real? The big bad bull himself?
Objection!
No, because that isn't Tor's source at all. It's the eye of a different giant beast entirely. Take a look at this if you would. Very Big Circus flyer. Oh, wait, look! You see it? The enormous lion balloon? That's the real monster. And the sound Miss Lloyd thought was the creature breathing fire. Oh, come on, you're really gonna bring me down to earth like that? Fam, we need a song for looking at this picture. Don't make it too nuts. Fucker, I got this. That's how balloons fly, huh? They burn gas to make hot air. They do, and our culprit was able to use that balloon to carry Kay up to the roof of the big building without ever going near the elevator. So this culprit, they've got something to do with the circus? Circus worker, friend of the Bronxster, son of Gusto. Whoa, 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 you're not serious. You forgot to mention trainee animal tamer. It's hard to believe. But he's the one who's been pulling the strings this whole time. That's right. Simeon Saint is the one behind all of this. Hymian? But everything... Really? I don't believe you. We trusted him, and he trusted us. The monkey. You can't tell me that was all lies. That would be too horrible. I'm sorry, Kay. Who's that? Hey, where do you think you're going, old man? Nothing escapes you, does it, young pup? My congratulations, Mr. Edgeworth. But now that I know the truth, my business here is done. What? No! Mr. Canis, wait! That sprite. Damn it, he disappeared! Me and eating an entire pint of ice cream. Good animation, yeah. Are you okay, Mr. Edgeworth? Don't worry, I'm fine, but... Damn you! Are you alright, Sean? He killed my dad. He did, right? There's no easy way to say it, but... Sorry, Sean, it would appear that he did. He won't get away with it. I'll make him pay. Somehow, someway, I'll...
Overruled.
No, Sean, you mustn't say such things. I'm sorry, Mr. Edgeworth. You'll have to forgive us both. Just put the call out, sir. All units are on the lookout for Mr. Canis. I don't mean to hurry everybody, but we better be on our way too. Well, Mr. Prosecutor, where do you think I'll find our mastermind? I suppose you're right. We should go after the mastermind right now. He said he had to practice for the show, which I guess means he'll be at the circus. But before we leave, there's something I'd like to ask of you, Agent Lang. There is? What? Once a beast has been sighted, the next step is to plan its capture. When we arrive, there's something we'll need to try and find as a matter of priority. And Detective, I'd like to look for you to look into something that's been bothering me about Sean's kidnapping. Yes, sir. I want to help too, Mr. Edgeworth. Good. There's somebody I'd like you to try and contact. If Saint really is our mastermind, we're going to need this person's help. Between our many encounters, I never suspected a thing, even though he was right there in front of me. I messed up. There's no other way of putting it. But I'm going to put things right once and for all. To be continued. So how's that for a fucking mind-blowing moment? I did not suspect him at all when I played the fan translation until I got up to the very last moment when they were like, yeah, it's someone that knows Bronco Knight, and I was like, oh, you've got to be fucking me. One of the few Ace Attorney games to have a twist, final reveal villain. Most Ace Attorney games don't actually really do that. You kind of figure it out gradually. This and Ace Attorney 5, I think, are the only two that really do that. Ooh. T. Anyway, give me a brief moment. I'll be right back, and we'll start the finale of Prosecutor's Gambit.